If your Etsy shop looks something like this, low views and no sales and no idea why, this video is your fix. Let's break down exactly how you can turn your shop around. First off, if you're new here, my name is Robert Balaz. I am a multi-six-figure Etsy seller that has done over 500K in revenue in just a year and a half on the platform of Etsy selling print on demand. I've now decided to dedicate my time to help you guys do the same. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the first thing you can do to fix it is to stop copying best sellers, right? Stop copying best sellers. Now, this might seem a little bit counterintuitive because if best sellers are doing it good, why can't you do it good, right? But the thing is, that's how everybody else thinks. So this is not the strategy that I would recommend. So why exactly does this not work? Well, first off, Etsy favors the best seller, right? So because of them being a bestseller, that means they would have had to gotten sales, right? So, and the thing is, Etsy is looking for sales. That's how they make their money. So obviously they're going to prioritize the bestseller that's already a bestseller, right? So it's going to be hard for you to come in, copy, which is obviously not allowed even, copy the bestseller and expect to make money off that, right? You might be thinking, oh, even if I get a piece of the pie, but you're never gonna make serious money on Etsy thinking like that. So just stay away from it. Other thing is that copycats blend in, right? If you're copying, then you're going to be blending in. Everybody else is copying. So why would you? If you want to stand out, then you can't copy a bestseller. It's just not going to work. What you do want to do is add value, right? We want to add value to the listing. Now, what you can do is get inspiration from bestsellers and maybe combine different elements from different bestsellers into one new listing. That is a good practice to do. And also always have this in the back of your mind that you want to add value to the market. You want to add value because why should that customer choose your product over everybody else, right? If you have more value, then it's going to be an easier proposition for that customer. And we already kind of touched on this, but model, don't mimic, right? Like I said, model bestsellers, look at what they're doing good, what is making them stand out, what's making them a bestseller, model the good things, combine different elements, and that is how you get your own bestseller. So let's move on. So next up, stop selling t-shirts. A little bit of a controversial topic here, but stop selling t-shirts. Let me explain why. Over saturated plus low margins. Okay. Now, most people, when they start print on demand, they sell t-shirts, right? There's a reason for that. I mean, the t-shirt market is probably the biggest market on Etsy, right? But that being said, there's also the most competition there, right? So it's going to be harder for you to stand out, right? And it's, yeah, that's another point here. Harder to stand out. Because all the different niches, they're already kind of done, right? So I'm not saying you can't succeed selling t-shirts, but the likelihood of you succeeding as a new shop is lower than if you were to choose different products, right? So it's oversaturated, low margins. The thing is nowadays is there's so many people selling t-shirts that it's kind of a race to the bottom at this point. There are people offering cheaper prices and it's just kind of a race to the bottom, right? So you're not going to make proper money selling t-shirts. I'm not saying you can't, but I wouldn't recommend it, okay? And just so you guys know, I don't sell any t-shirts myself. So that is why I'm saying this. What you do want to do is sell unique products. For example, the unique product could be wall art or journals, right? Both those product categories can be very profitable. So sell unique products. The cool thing about print on demand nowadays is that we have access to so many different product types. So why not use that to our advantage and actually hit the market and be one of the first to hit the market with a certain product? And the likelihood of you succeeding then is much higher. And think about all the different niches you can then target with a new product where there's not that much competition, right? So really, that is where you can make some serious money. Sell unique products and sell personalized products, right? So personalized products on Etsy, they are basically if you put a name, like the customer's name, a date, some sort of special date, occasion, or maybe a photo. So it's essentially a customized product that has a personal touch to it, right? And that is what people love on Etsy. That's what Etsy is all about. So by doing this, you're also adding value, as we touched on, to your listing. So why not? Myself, probably 99% of my listings are personalized products. That is how you make the serious money. Moving along here. Next up, we have fix your SEO. Okay? Fix your SEO. So if you don't know what SEO is, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And basically what SEO does is that it makes it so that your listing can be, makes it basically visible for the correct target audience, right? So that is the whole strategy behind it. And the most important things on Etsy are titles and tags, I would say, for the SEO. By the way, if you guys want to look at a full SEO breakdown, I have a video on that as well. Just go to the channel and take a look. But that kind of dives deeper into actually how to do your SEO. So you want to fix your SEO, and yeah, so basically what you want to stop doing is stop keyword stuffing. So if you don't know what keyword stuffing is basically when you take a bunch of random keywords, stuff them into your titles and your tags without making any sense, right? And basically the thought process behind that is that you will rank for the most keywords possible. However, that is not really how Etsy works. We want to think like a shopper on Etsy, think about what they're typing into the search bar, and that is how we actually construct our titles. So stop keyword stuffing. We want to use long tail keywords, right? So long tail keywords instead of just having singular keywords stuffed into a title. We want long tail keywords like, for example, personalized candle gift for dad, right? This is just a quick one, but basically you're combining keywords into a sentence that makes sense, right? So you have personalized candle, that's one. You have candle gift, you have personalized candle gift, you have gift for dad, right? All that combined into one. And it makes sense too, because maybe somebody would then be typing in search personalized candle for dad or whatever, right? So that's how you would do that. Next up, you want to think about use who, what, where, when, why. All these things you want to think about when you're constructing your titles and tags because, right, you want to think about who is this for? What is it for? Where can it be used? When is it? When can it be used? And why, right? So if you think about all these, then it'll be easier for you to actually make your titles and your tags and make it make sense. And by optimizing SEO, you're essentially showing your listing to the correct target customer. And that in turn will hopefully increase your conversion rate and help you get sales. So next up we have fix your CTR, okay? So CTR stands for click-through rate. So essentially what click-through rate is your click-through rate percentage-wise based off of how many impressions you have on that listing. So obviously the higher click-through rate you have, the more likelihood you have of actually selling your product. Unless it's being shown to the incorrect target customer, right? That's why you want your SEO to be optimized. So click-through rate, thumbnails. Thumbnails need to be eye-catching, right? You need to have thumbnails. So what I mean by thumbnails is the first image in your listing needs to be eye-catching because that is what's going to stop the scroll of that customer, right? So we need it to stand out in search. So why would you use the exact same mockup as everybody else is using? It just doesn't make sense. Now you can analyze to see what everybody else is using, what style it is, and maybe get some inspiration there. But why would you use the exact same mockup? You need to stand out in search, right? So you need to have something that makes it eye-catching. Whether it's putting a fast shipping logo onto the image or whatever it is, right? You need to stand out. So thumbnails need to be eye-catching. Also, design must be legible, right? It needs to be legible. I see too many listings where it has some sort of text design on it and the text is way too small to read or it's hard to read. It needs to be legible at a glance because otherwise you're maybe going to get clicks into your listing that are just people thinking, what does this actually say? And then they click into it, right? And maybe your click-through percentage will be high, but your conversion rate will be low, and that'll tank your listing, right? Also, design speaks to target customer. Very, very important. Something I talk about a lot. Your design needs to speak to the customer or niche you are targeting, right? What are they looking for? What specific attributes? Can your mock-up be something that speaks to that specific audience, right? Also, the product you're selling, does that speak to that audience, right? So these things will help your click-through rate and in turn help you make sales. Next up, we have use Etsy ads. Use Etsy ads. Now, I talk a lot about Etsy ads. I'm an advocate for Etsy ads. I believe in them because that is what I have used myself to scale my shop, right? So I practice what I preach. I use Etsy ads. That is one of my main tools for scaling my shop. So I know a lot of people say that it's a waste of money, and yes, it can be if you don't know what you're doing, right? So you got to know what you're doing. Ads equal instant visibility. So if you want to fast track success, then Etsy ads are probably the best tool for that because they're going to be showing your product and you're basically going to be collecting data on what's working, right? So ads, instant visibility. That is one of the key factors here. Don't rely on ads to fix bad listings, right? If your listing is bad, Etsy ads are not going to miraculously fix it, right? If your listing's bad, it's bad, right? There's no point. That is how you're going to be burning your hard-earned cash, and that is why people say that Etsy ads are not worth it. You need to have optimized listings that speak to your target customer, the design, the product, everything, right? So take all that into account. That is what's going to make your Etsy ad successful. Last point here is it confirms what works, essentially, right? Basically, Etsy ads are confirming what works because if it's selling through Etsy ads, then it's obviously a winner. It's going to be a winner. So that makes it so that, okay, if that's a winner, why don't I do more of that same type of listing, right? Double down on what's already working so that you can multiply and kind of get that snowball effect and achieve success at the fastest rate possible. So with that being said, I hope you guys got value from this. If you are looking for more in-depth help, I'll have a video linked below in the description. It's in a video explaining about my process and how I can help you. At the end of the video, you'll also be able to book a free call with me where we can jump on a video call and look at your shop, map out what the best strategy for you is going forward. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, click that video in the description and book a free call with me. And if you got value from this video, hit that like button, and I will see you guys all in the next one.